What's up, my dudes? Check this out right here. Let me just 6 in, 6 out right quick. No problem. It's too easy, baby. Oh my god. I don't know how I hit that, but I swear it felt better than sex, man. So let me show you this in a different view and actually explain what I did here. So what I was thinking in my mind was like, just maybe, just maybe, if you rail the absolute shit out of that rut in that corner, just maybe you can jump to this tabletop right here, on top of the tabletop. That's what I was thinking in my head. Like, if you hit it absolutely perfect, you might be able to do it. But I was thinking, honestly, in my mind, I was thinking you wouldn't even be able to jump to the tabletop. That's really what I was thinking right there. And then I just came around that corner, fifth gear wide open, perfect, hucked it right over the tabletop, smooth over the tabletop, and then did a 6 out. Jumped the entire rhythm section in 2 jumps on complete accident. Like, how does that happen, man? I don't know what the heck, but I'm just telling you right now, whenever I was in the air, time completely disappeared. Like, there was no... That is just unreal when that happens in life sometimes. Like, when you do something so crazy that you forget that there is no time. Like, I don't even know any other way to explain that, but look at this. 6 in, 6 out, dude. Oh my god. Like, that is a once-in-a-lifetime jump right there, man. I'm telling you. But it was done at least 69% on accident, so just remember that. It wasn't like I was trying to hit that rhythm, you know what I'm saying? And that makes it all the better. Like, whenever you go to hug something and you expect to only be able to jump so far and you end up jumping over that, and then it makes a perfect rhythm to jump out of the rhythm section. Like, dude, that just does not happen every day, I'm telling you, man. But with this track right here, made by JGSX, I kind of have a bit of a, I don't know, man, like, I simultaneously love and hate this track at the same time. It's kind of one of those things where the way the track actually feels, it's almost like it wants you to go fast on it, but you can't really go fast on it at the same time. It's kind of feels a little bit like sand, or, I don't know if he was trying to go for a super dry, like, powdery kind of dirt, or if he was trying to go for a sand filling. I can't really tell. It kind of has a bit of that filling. It has the sand filling where it feels like you can just go wide open on it and spin the back end around, but at the same time, like, your front end and your back end is very apt to sort of do like weird things with losing traction on this track. Like, you'll just completely lose the front end when you didn't even expect it at all. So even though it may look more like just a standard dirt, I'm telling you, it's not really like that. It's more like almost like a sand, like, I don't know how to explain that, but a little bit of a bizarre kind of track feeling here. Like I'm saying, I love it and hate it at the same time. It's kind of, I don't know, like, when you get to flowing on this track, it feels really, really good. It feels like there's no limit to how fast you can go on it. But when you're not feeling it on this track, it's like, oh, dude, I hate this traction. So it just kind of has like a back and forth sort of feeling to it. And, this is one of those tracks that I like to call a semi-realistic track. So basically it is where some parts of the track are super smooth and some parts of the jumps are super smooth and sort of like a quote-unquote perfectly built track. But then you have other parts of the track that have, like, for instance, in this bowl corner up here, you've got ruts coming out. You've got kind of string straggler sort of ruts coming out of the outside of the berm. You can see them right there. And then in the whoop sections, you've got certain areas where there's like a part of the whoops that looks like it's been sort of dug down a little bit. It's kind of got like a bit of a rut in the whoops, but it's not a super realistic track in the sense of, like, you've got 5 ruts going up every single face of the jumps. You don't have that level of ruts. It's just what I like to call, a semi-realistic track. It's not perfectly smooth as silk and like basically just a Play-Doh, like, I don't know how to explain how most Supercross tracks are in this game, but But as far as your actual scenery and all that, it's basically tortilla flats, but just with a more like almost woodlandy hills in the background kind of style to it. That's basically what it feels like to me. But as far as your jump scaling and your distances and stuff like that, some people may consider this super realistic, but it's actually not that extreme in my opinion. This track, the jumps don't really like boot you that high in the air, which completely eliminates any sort of risk. So like when you come up short on something on this track, you're probably going to be just fine. I mean, you can come up short on a quad and land it, you know, like case it in the worst spot possible and come out of it on a quad or a triple or whatever. So even though like some of the jump distances may look somewhat realistic, it's really, this is what I would call more like a B to an A style supercross track, not so much like an actual full-blown pro level replica in my mind what I think that would be. So if that makes any sense to you, but it's still a fun track. I mean, as you can see, there's rhythms that are just unreal that you can hit, and I mean the whoops basically just hold it wide open. I mean, these are almost like roller mixed with whoops, kind of, sort of. They're not super difficult. So this is a great track for people that are right in that intermediate to professional stage. You know, I would just call this basically an intermediate supercross track right here. Got a nice hook line right there. We can jump right over. Then it goes this sort of darker dirt, kind of gray tone. I don't really know if that has a different traction to it or if it's just for visual effects. I'm not really sure. But it's got all this freestyle stuff going on off of the track. I wasn't really sure what all he was doing with that, but I'm just reviewing this little supercross track right here. So you can triple in off of that and then do the quad over. But yeah, pretty simple. I mean, not like a crazy difficult style of a track, but definitely a good learning track because it does have ruts in areas. You know, you get on some of those supercross tracks where there's like absolutely no ruts anywhere, and it makes it very basic in a certain way. But like I'm saying, this track kind of has a mixture between your super smooth, like perfectly built supercross tracks and then your more realistic rutty style, and even the RF replica tracks in this game are more like what I would call not super realistic. They're more like a completely smoothed out replica. And the reason why a lot of people do that is because when you put ruts in this game, those ruts are like hardcore. You know, I mean, they're ingrained forever on that track. So you either basically have like a rutty track or you don't have ruts on it at all. And it's hard to find a balance between that because there's not like a super amazing terrain deformation system in this game. I mean, it's okay. Don't get me wrong. It's not super terrible, but it's not like on a insane super level where just everybody wants to use it on every single track, if that makes sense. So it just, I don't know, like when you're making tracks that you're not using terrain deformation on, then it makes it a little bit difficult to, you know, either decide, do you want like super realism where you got ruts going up the faces of the jumps and ruts in the corners and roughness, or do you want to just build like a perfect supercross track where you can just get around the bowl corners really quick? And, you know, it really changes the dynamic of the supercross track in this game in particular. Whenever you start getting super realistic with your ruts, it almost turns into more of a motocross track than a supercross track. And that's why a lot of times when you see people making supercross tracks, they don't make them super realistic, you know what I mean? Because then it turns into kind of like a hybrid motocross kind of thing. Like that is what starts to happen with it. So, whoa, dude, get a little crazy with that front end there. But these corners are so much fun, man. I mean, like I'm saying, you can get into them super hard, and it just feels like there's no limit. And that's what happens when you get into them super hard. And, you know, it feels like there's no limit to how much that back end's going to spin around. It's a little bit, like I'm saying, a little bit inconsistent in some places like you can't, it's like sometimes you almost can't tell how the bike is going to spin in the corner. Whereas some tracks, they're super consistent in the sense of you really can tell what that bike's going to do every time you go around a corner. Let me back that up real quick. So check this out, dude. You can actually hit this inside. Look how small that jump face is. Let me get over there real quick. I don't even know how I hit this either. This was quite a bit of an accident here, but look how small the jump face is, and you can get just enough power to it. You can huck it right over. Man, that looked like James Stewart whenever they've got a little video of him doing that where he kind of like really soaked down into a jump and then seat bounced the living crap out of it and jumped like over a triple that you just thought there's no way you could hit that. That's kind of what this looks like to me right here, dude. Like, you come into it, huck right over that and just barely make that triple. But I mean, scenery is decent on this, man. Definitely his skybox with the hills in the background really makes it its own sort of thing here. And obviously he's got his sort of natural grass billboards growing into the track and stuff like that. This whoop section over here, you can hit it 5th gear, 6th gear, fucking 12th gear. I mean, however fast you want to hit this whoop section, you can hit it, dude. Like, I'm telling you right now, there's really no limit to the speed on that. It is just a really fast section. And I do love his straightaway here where he's got a little bit of smooth, not crazy roughness, but it's just got a realism, a flat style realism to it here. You got to be careful in that one corner because I know it's really easy to actually get, you know, going a little bit too quick on that. Let me kind of show you, like, back this up just a little bit. So, dude, I think, yeah, this is where I started going wicked fast right here. So, I picked it up from this, and I was like, I don't give a fuck. I was like, I'm just going to hold the gas down, man, and see what happens. I don't care I don't care if I crash. I don't even care, man. 5th gear wide open. Come around this corner. It's got a little bit of an exit style rut right there, so you got to be careful and not get cross rutted on that. Then you got to make sure you slow down perfect for that rut right there. Then you got to hit the next berm rut to the next corner. So it's got a really cool kind of like flow to it right there in that first section. Then you come back around on this finish line style jump. Then you hit the whoops, these whoops right here again, fairly easy like I was saying. Then you come back around to this massive section. So you can jump that, and then you kind of, I think I tried to hook that all the way over. I'm pretty sure you could hit that, but I don't even know what the dominant line would be on that section. There's a lot of jumps on this track where if you hit something smaller, you can like skim over tabletops, and I feel like you're actually going faster than you would be by hooking like a 5 or a 6. So there's certain sections like that where I don't really know if it's all that much quicker. I think a lot of your quickness is just coming from these corner speeds and stuff. I mean, you can see it, dude. Like, oh my God, that's what happens when you're not worried about crashing. Like, there's a weird thing with motocross where, I mean, consistency is everything, but to be able to ride on that edge, you can't be worried about crashing at the same time. Like, there's such a balance to that with motocross. It's such an amazing thing. That's one of my favorite things about it. Like, and the risk is so high when you start doing that. So that just makes it all that much more badass. You know, when you're like on a Villapoto just railing it level, like so high risk when they're hitting those quads and stuff in real life. But it's just unbelievable, man. So either way, I'm going to give this track a 9 overall, and I'm going to say the difficulty is medium. So appreciate you guys watching all the videos. Don't forget, I have all of my track reviews in a playlist on my front page. I'll try to leave a link to that in a comment down below. And you guys can also donate to me in the description if you want to do that. If not, totally cool, bro. So appreciate it. Later, dudes.